Hey guys, welcome in. I'm Hugh, you're you, and today we're taking a look at Citizen Sleeper 1. The second one just came out, and I thought, hey, why don't I look at that first game, see what it's about? And away we go. Game. Oh, actually, you know what? I probably need to turn off. Can I not turn off the music? I guess I'll just have to risk it for the biscuit then. As you can see, I haven't played this game at all. Okay, so now we're up to the choose a character class. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 classes to choose from. I'll start on the far left and go right. So the first class is a machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource and extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Perk, efficient extractor. Chance to gain random scrap item on engineer action. They have +1 engineering, but -1 engage. Engineering is work with machines and physical tools. Interface is work with digital interfaces. Endure is use strength or strength of will. Intuit is approach problems with awareness. Engage is approach a problem head on. Okay, the second class is operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator are usually cerebral and precise people. Perk, chance to gain cryo on interface actions. I don't know what cryo is, and it doesn't tell me. The operator gets +1 interface, but -1 endure. The third class is the extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Perk, sunbathe dice action allows energy recovery at home. So which one should I be, guys? Machinist, operator, extractor. I don't know. It's tough. I'm not confident in real life, that's for sure. I don't know how cerebral I am. I'm a pretty big dummy. Diligent, careful. I feel like I'm kind of careful, but I think I'm going to go with the extractor because the energy recovery. I'm assuming energy is like a scarce resource in this game. And I'm going to be reading any dialogue or pop-ups that aren't voiced. Oh, also, I have this installed on a slower hard drive just to save some space, so the loading may take a while. Where are you? Unknown. Cryo. Cryptocurrency stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. Okay. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. And we have a dialogue choice. I'm going to choose think of that body. They leap into a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a fresh wound. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. So I've always thought of, always makes it sound like it's always on my mind. I've sometimes thought about superheroes and this kind of thing. If, most of them don't feel pain, like when Superman gets punched, he doesn't feel it. Same with, Spider-Man and every hero, Wolverine, whatever. But wouldn't that also mean they wouldn't feel pleasure the same either? Like they would never know what a kiss feels like or a hug because there wouldn't be enough strength behind those things to make the heroes feel them, because I can't imagine their nervous systems would somehow magically be selective and go, well, hey, we can feel good stuff, but we can't feel bad stuff. I feel like if you were actually Superman and you never got to know the touch of almost anything other than violence when someone was strong enough to hurt you, it might drive you insane. I wish I was a good writer and artist and I'd make a comic out of that, but hopefully someone else will someday.
But I digress.
Cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limb. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. So what it's like getting text notifications saying, hey, your toe, you stubbed your toe and you got a Charlie horse and you need some electrolytes because you got a cramp and someone played slug bug and punched you in the shoulder really hard. Your eye kind of itches. Remember the others or remember the plan? We're going to go with others. You remember there were 10 of you, 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized they had sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Try to rest, but you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of the damage to your legs, your right arm. I feel like there should be an and in there. Your legs and your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. You rest. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. We're sitting here at a menu. On the bottom's items and data. Doesn't seem to do much. And there's currency. There's these 4 arrows on the edge of the screen, but doesn't seem to do anything. Escape, music level. Turn that down to 0, unfortunately. Let's make it large text so it's easy for you guys to read. I'm assuming I'm supposed to click this one button that's lit up. Dragos, pragmatic salvager. Dragos is a pragmatic and private salvager. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in the corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges, where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, are you thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to haul plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with his glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches. This thing? Its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Daring contest, 1, 2, 3, go. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. I can choose I plan to survive, what happened to them, or stay silent. I'm gonna go what happened to them. I guess I should give him sort of a robotic voice because it sounds like we're mostly robot, right? We're a robot that wants to be human or something. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation. And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you're just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms. The cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You're an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S and ARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from other sleepers. Planned obsolescence. They built independence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye, the station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet and nod. All right, you head up on there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back into the Rex, his drones already converging on a rusting Hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. There's only one button, so... Oh wait, what's this? Oh, this is my character. Do you level up in this game?
Obviously.
Alright, let's click on the house, the empty container. Your home, for now. You can leave, and then it says per cycle, energy, condition. All cycles need to end, rest and prepare for the next one. Alright, we took a nap. What do you think an electric yawn sounds like?
Not even close.
That sounded like a sick cow. You wake up curled in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its messages readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape, getting answer, building a life. I chose building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here, on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe, if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. Is a sachet like a satchel? I'm assuming it's like a little pack of something. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. I don't know why, but I had a terrible time trying to say stud of the stove. It's like a tongue twister. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Okay, so I can click on the die. I move them. No. The only thing I can do right now, I can check out my items and my data, and I can leave. Sounds like I need to find food. Dragos. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Not good. The drone chirps, Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not gonna chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. All right, then. He nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value. But most what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure, as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits. These. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo. isolated from the market, is what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, he trails off, but things being the way they are for me at the yard. He pauses. I need the help. Happy to. Okay. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later. He calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Okay, so I can go back to my home, or I can go to Dragos's yard, and that's it. Okay, a debt called in, back in business. Dragos is tied up with something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, things could get nasty. Back in business, every salvager knows they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. This one's safe, and it's +1, so I'm gonna do that. Does that mean I want to try and do this? Can I do this? No. Does it? I mean, it seems like I should do this a debt called in thing, but unless I'm mistaken, and I probably am, it doesn't look like it's connected to anything. No, I can't drop a die on it. Looks like I can only drop a die on these two things over here. So I guess let's do this again. Survive. Find a doctor. You need to access corporate pharmaceuticals. Otherwise, this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. Dragos pulls you out of the salvage and set you up. Perhaps you can repay his kindness in time. Oh, I think I want to toggle this one first, though. How can I get out of this? Leave. Okay, and then I can use W. Oh, there's a lot of icons now. Nope, nope, nope. So it looks like W is set. It doesn't depend on what direction the camera's facing. By the way, if you can hear sneezing in the background, that's my puppy. Okay, so we have the low end gate, which is a passage into the low end. No duh! The Bright Market, which is a bustling open market. Dock B2, which is Rotunda Wet Dock. Old Dock Terminal. Dock C4 Rotunda Wet Dock. Decaying Scrapyard. Home. Shipyard. Okay, so the Bright Market has a little yellow flashy thing. So I'm assuming that's going to help me find the doctor. As for directions, explore the market. One is risky with a -1. One is danger with a 0. Local knowledge. The Bright Market is the busiest part of the eye's lower rim. You can find anything and everything here. Critical action. Why wander when there are hundreds of people that live and work within the Bright Market? All you need is the courage to approach them. Start action. +3 local knowledge. Positive outcome. Okay. Bright Market. Is there anything I can do here now? It doesn't look like there's anything I can do. There's still the action on the left, the action on the right. I thought the one on the right was repeatable, which is why I did the one on the left first, because I thought it was not repeatable. Data? No. Leave? Oh, there we go. Sabine, Slum Doctor. Kind of wish it had let me know, hey, there's a new thing that unlocked. Okay, Sabine. Sabine Wren from Star Wars? Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. What does this say? Something decaying habitation block. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without the supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look inside. You lean against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. So I thought look inside meant collect your thoughts, think, meditate. It's more literal than that. It's looking inside this apartment. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. "Wait your turn," he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. "Send in the next one, Toshiro." The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in a warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above. And, for a moment, you are transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns. As they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouths as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. "Please, sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on this station?" they ask, the scanner still to their eye. "A few cycles." They nod. "It's good you came to me." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything."
That is correct.
They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. "SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They build in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of." They look up. "Sound familiar?" "How do you know this?" They shift in their seat. "You aren't the first sleeper I've encountered." You wait for more, but they go back to their inspection. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. "I'm sorry," Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. "Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status." They focus hard on the inspection of your arm. "And SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market." Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. "I know little of this is of use to you." They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. "I may be able to help." They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. "You saw Toshiro outside?" You nod. "He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, rent the door, and take profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds." They look away. "But Yatagan has connections. Smugglers from the Stalwart Belt, mercenaries working for corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance." Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it." "Thank you." Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. "Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead." You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Okay, wait for Sabine to acquire the stabilizer. Hardware exchange? Play the exchange. The flow of chits and components in the exchange is complex, but a sharp eye and some tight trades can net you a good margin. Sell components. The Ord exchange is always hungry for new hardware to buy up, break down, and sell off, and you are happy to supply it. Okay. Don't know what the yellow lights mean now. I thought they were where I wanted to do quests. Okay. I think I want to find something that I'm more like likely to succeed in, I guess is the way to say it. So we'll drop a 5 there. Plus plus back in business, plus plus cryo. Okay. Should I have eaten? I probably should have eaten, huh? Duh. So now I want to go to the, oh, maybe I can eat without spending a thing though. Okay, we've approached a guy named Emphas. He is, I can't tell what it says over him, but a street food vendor. Emphas is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red flaked dressing. The smell is incredible. I'm surprised we have a sense of smell. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. You watch. Despite the queue, Emphas doesn't rush. He dresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of torn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Emphas remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the crowd. Emphas sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you watching him. Well, I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? You nod. He gestures neatly. We'll come over. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus, laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. This sounds delicious. The head from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. Oh, I know you. You sleepers. Emphasis. Emphas? His? I'm gonna go with emphasis. Like emphasis, but not. Emphas says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. Ah, no. You tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container and of the endless cycle spent within it. Now it seems, you tell him, like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you are unsure where to walk, where to look, and what to do. Eventually, you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Well, next time we can talk some more. He smiles, but next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner's side, and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. If you hear squeaking in the background, that is also my dog with a fox toy. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Okay. Ooh. It's 60 cryo, go to the low end. The low end says, after some spacers cause some trouble in the low end, Yatagan have imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. And it's 60 and I only have 30 after working all day. So Sabine has 2 dots, but still nothing to do there. Okay. Go back down. I don't have any dice left, so I think all I can do is sleep, but I want to make sure. Yeah, let's just go to sleep. Let's go back home. End cycle, perk, sunbathe. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Oh, well, I would have saved a dice for that if I'd known. I thought it was just like an automatic perk. I have to remember now to save 1 dice. Ooh. This time, you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. The threads become vectors of exchange and then extension, as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Do we want to touch it or observe it? Let's touch it. That sounded weird. You find a point in the station and you connect to it. pulse through it, follow loops and paths under and around it. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try, in a moment of impulsiveness, to connect them. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. This makes me think of how magic is described in The Wheel of Time, or at least how, is it Seiden is what the guys use? Sidar is described differently. As you do, things occur to you, things that you can't possibly know. You reach out, try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you. A shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored. And then it is gone. All right, guys, that's going to do it for Citizen Sleeper. If you're digging it, let me know in the comments below. And if this video gets to, let's say 100 views and I get to 10 subscribers, I'll pick it up again and keep playing. So be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. And as always, be excellent to each other and party on.